You're listening to the And I Quote podcast brought to you by Coterie Insurance.
We will be bringing you conversations with industry influencers and experts discussing a variety of topics focused on our theme, because relationships matter.
Now let's dive in.
All right. Welcome to the final episode of season 3 of the And I Quote podcast. Really excited because this has been an awesome season. Bobbie and I both had some really great conversations. So I know it's so exciting. It feels like we just started this season and it's already wrapping up, but it was incredible. So, Bobbie, did you talk to anyone who just stood out to you? Like, what was your experience like hosting the podcast for this season?
I have to say, Ashley, I had so much fun. We had such great guests, both you and I. Um, from my side, I made a really great new friend in Emma Roloff. Didn't even realize she lives just an hour from me. So we have we had at least one lunch since our podcast, and then also have met up at a couple industry events. Chris Klein and Frank Sentner really shared their, like, I would say, broad level forward-thinking industry views with us, which was fantastic to have them. I hope Frank isn't around another 20 years to see Coterie take over the world. It's like, I felt like I was like on a Pinky in the Brain episode when I was talking.
I love that.
And then I had Brandon Shu talk a little bit about, agency perspective. Nick Berry was on talking about, marketing and how that's changed, marketing to policyholders. And then Meg McKean just came on and shared her story as a female in the industry. And it was so powerful and meaningful. And we've gotten so much great feedback just from her being very vulnerable and candid and sharing her story with us. So I had a great time. It's such a small world, this industry, isn't it?
It is incredibly small. That's what I think was probably my biggest takeaway of this season. Like, it's such a small world, and even like insurance adjacent industries, like everyone knows each other. So I think that's really cool. So yeah, but similar experience, honestly. Like, I had such a variety of guests, which I think was really cool. Like, I talked to Tony Kanyas, who obviously he's a big name in the industry, and a founder of Insurance Nerds. And so I thought that was very cool to hear, like, not only his experience in growing in this industry, but then also like kind of his forward thinking of, like, recruitment and retaining of millennials and Gen Z, which is like a whole new concept, right, in this industry, that like actually Gen Z are ready to like get into insurance or to try a different industry out, right? So I thought that was super cool conversation. And then actually, like, a few of the guests that I talked to, I'd actually had a chance to meet in person at an event that I went to last year for women in insurance. So that was really cool, just to kind of chat with them again, but then really kind of dive deeper into their stories. One of them was Monica Adwani. So she has her own insurance agency, but then she also has this sort of like virtual assistance business, which kind of marries together, which I think is really cool. That's a like kind of growing, like rapidly growing space within the, kind of adjacent to insurance. So that was really cool. And then one of our agents who's actually writing with us, Kelly Spee, she's super cool. She's out in California, and she has this really fun, like, food truck freaks business where she like niches down and writes like only food trucks, which I think is incredible because I love food. So not only did we get to talk about insurance, but we got to talk about food. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so many great guests. So is there anything for you that like stood out in terms of, like you said, you made a connection, a new friend, but then anything else that really stood out to you this season?
I was reflecting on it a little bit, Ashley, and I think the big thing for me is just how much the industry has changed in the last 5 years. And just to hear everyone talk about, our industry and what they're doing to, find growth and keep moving forward is much different than we would have heard 5 years ago, and extremely different than what we would have heard even 10 years ago, right? So it's fun to see all the innovation coming through in insurance, and I'm super excited and proud to be on the journey with Coterie and pushing the innovation forward as well through the work that we're doing. What about you?
Yeah, I would say very much the same. I think what was interesting to me was to really kind of talk to so many guests who are very authentic to them, to their own experiences and themselves, whether that's like culturally or again being a woman in insurance, but really like tap into that to grow their businesses, right? Like, I think that's something that, I guess, for me being more of the newbie in insurance, is like, oh, okay, like, it's interesting to see how you can truly bring like your personality and your background, and use that to really carve out your business in a niche that works for you. So I think that was something that was really just interesting for me to see. And then also to your point, like just to see the growth in the industry, like, it's not as antiquated as I probably thought it was, like, a few years ago. And there's so many cool, like, innovative ideas that a lot of our partners, our agents are really working on. So I think that was incredible. And then just building connections, right? Like, I think, like we talked about before, like there's so many ways to build connections, and there's so much strength and power in like really fostering those true connections in the industry. Like, while it can seem competitive in certain ways, like it's really not when you really like, break down that layer of everything that the insurance industry as a whole is trying to tackle. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's what really stood out to me. That was incredible.
Yeah, I cannot say enough about the power of your network. And I've been very grateful to have a lot of awesome supporters within my network in my career. And I'll also say, like, some of our best InsurTech friends and some of those that made wonderful exits teamed up with other InsurTechs and solved problems together. So I think just as long as we keep doing this kind of stuff and solving problems together, the industry will keep moving forward, and we're all going to find success in our own ways, which
Yeah.
I'm super excited for.
Yeah, same here. I think it's incredible just to kind of be on the cusp of seeing all of this happen, and Coterie really leading that. So yeah, with that, I guess we kind of can jump into like, maybe our guests want to know like what is next for Coterie, because we're, midway point, a little bit past the midway point of 2023. So what do you like in your crystal ball? Like, what are you seeing for Coterie next?
Well, we are blowing our growth goals out of the water, which has been fantastic. I feel like a proud mom of our team, just like, yay, like we're doing so well. So the team is firing on all cylinders. I think Coterie is really well positioned to continue our growth. We're having some great conversations with our carrier partners on how we're going to do that and execute on that. I think we'll be, at least 150% growth this year, if not higher. So thank you to all of our partners and all of our, InsurTech supporters and, ancillary vendors that are helping us push Coterie forward. It's been a really fun journey, and I just think the future looks super bright.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. I think just looking across our team, a lot of the strong partners and agents that we're working with across the space, there's a lot of excitement. So I'm really excited. It gets me, excited to come to work every day and just really contribute to everything that we're building here at Coterie. So again, same to here. Like, thanks to all of our partners and our agents. So yeah, with that, just want to thank everyone who tuned in for season 3. Thank you, Bobbie, for just, being a great host. And it's been cool, like I said, listening to your episodes and being able to learn a lot from industry experts. So excited to wrap up the season, but we'll see everyone next season. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashleigh. I guess that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to the And I Quote podcast, brought to you by Coterie Insurance.
We will be hosting episodes with industry experts on a variety of trending topics this year, and would really love for you to listen and subscribe.
Coterie Insurance is on a mission to simplify small business insurance for agents, brokers, and our partners. To learn more about Coterie Insurance and this episode, please visit our show notes below.